your name, what's your creative discipline, and how much do you hate technology, and how comfortable you are? So Joanna, you're the first one on my right. I'll let you start.
So I'm a line A printer. I retired from the police in 2017, having been a police officer for 32 years, and decided that I was going to do something arty. And I thought it would just be a hobby, but it's taken off in a way that I didn't really anticipate, to be fair. And I feel very blessed that it has. I was just saying before some of the other people logged on, if I don't schedule my social media, I ignore it and I don't do it. So I've just started to work with later, and I much prefer knowing that I've got to sit for a day and do something around scheduling than I would actually scheduling every day. It just wouldn't happen. So that's where I'm with it.
Thank you. That's quite interesting. I didn't realize you were a police officer for 30 years.
Yeah.
That's quite a change in career, I have to say. I think the only other one that I can think of is probably Cara, who was a nurse for 20, 30 years. Wasn't it, Carl? We were speaking to her yesterday. And a change in career to pottery. So really interesting. Thank you, Joanna. I've got you next. Susanna, you're very new to our community, literally a day old, so to speak. So welcome. And if you do the same, tell us where you are with it.
Thank you. Yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, so I'm a newbie. So I'm Susanna from Susanna Brooks Jewellery, contemporary silver jewellery. It's a side hustle at the moment. I'm still 3 days a week in my day job at Nottingham University. I've been a teacher and a lecturer. Now I'm a manager, and it would be quite nice to stop doing that quite soon and that's my plan. So I've been up and running as a business for just less than a year. So Instagram is my main focus, social media wise. I just cannot get my head around Facebook, but I'm really, really trying. So all that you could offer in terms of help for Facebook would be brilliant. I do schedule, so I use Plannerly for Instagram, but actually I've just started scheduling directly to Facebook from Canva, because I do a lot of work in Canva, and that content planner is really helpful, I think, for that. So that's me.
Thank you. Yes, Canva is really useful, and I think we've got some material on Canva which we do want to cover, because I think I individually keep saying to everybody, come use Canva.
Yeah.
So absolutely brilliant tool, another free one to use. So we'll come to that right at the start. Thank you. So next I've got Joanna Yates. I've got you. If you want to just a very quick one, just to say where you are, what you're looking forward from, or what is about technology that worries you.
I'm Joanna. I make mosaics. I feel quite happy about using social media, but it's a bit overwhelming, all the different channels, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook. Trying to be a bit more organized, and so I need to know how to schedule stuff, because I had a look at it on Facebook, but it didn't go to where I wanted it to go. So
all right. Okay, so scheduling I think is our big one in that case, and I think something we should look at. If today's information is probably not enough, then we'll probably look to do another one and try and give you a little bit more in-depth information on that. Thank you, Joanna. I've got you next, Katie. I'm sorry I haven't met you face to face yet.
No, hi. Well, I'm new as well. I'm Kate Coker, and yeah, I don't know what I'm as Katie, but yeah, that is my actual name, but everybody knows me as Kate.
Right.
Yes, I'm a jeweller from Oxfordshire. I've always been a jeweller, so I trained a long time ago, and I've been running my business full time for the last 15 years. But of course, when I started, there was no internet, there was no social media, and I struggle with it all because I didn't use it before. Now I have to use it, and I find it very difficult. So any help for me, especially with Instagram, because I'm trying very hard. So yes, please.
That's absolutely fine. This will be a good starting point for you, Kate, in that case. So brilliant. Thank you. Alan, I've got you next. You are not on mute, you're fine.
Yeah, fine. Hi, I'm Alan Taylor. I work 4 days a week as a principal research scientist and IT manager. And I do my art in my spare time. It's mainly pastel, colour pencil stuff, a little bit of watercolour. My wife has a very large input into the social media, far more than myself. I've been using Facebook as a sort of business platform for about 3 years. And what I hope to do is develop the art so that I no longer have to work as a research scientist and IT manager.
So very much where Susanna, you are in a way, you know, you've had for about 3 years as well, and then want to eventually make that transition. So perfect. Thank you, Alan, for joining. This is the first time you've come to a workshop. It's really interesting. I always sort of assume that you'll know most of it, and that's why I usually don't sort of send you a reminder, but I'm glad I did. Thank you. Sally, I've got you next. I know you're quite savvy with Pinterest. You're very savvy with a lot of your social media. So what is that we can sort of help you with? We've lost your video. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just trying to unmute. I'm busy working on an order at the moment. I've got to try and get it out this afternoon, so excuse me filing in the background. I'm a jewellery designer, and I've literally made this my big gig this year. So I used to have it as a side hustle, and this year I've gone all in. I used to be an art teacher, so I'm still doing it a little tiny bit, but only like 1 or 2 evenings a week. So this is my full-time gig now. I really do like social media, but it takes quite a lot of time. I use Tailwind to schedule some of my Pinterest, but also do some live. And I use Canva to schedule some of my Instagram, but also prefer to do it live, to be honest with you. But when I've got a really busy week, it does go by the by. So I think some more scheduling would be really useful for me, that I can have sort of in the back burner to put out when I'm really busy, which is like currently.
Brilliant, thank you. So I've got you, Emma, next. Be good. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Emma, so I'm a wildlife artist. I deal mainly with colour pencil and pastel, kind of like, I know Alan uses that as well. I've been sort of doing my job sort of on and off, sort of mainly full-time for the past 5-6 years. I'm quite comfortable with social media, mainly Instagram. I tend to have quite a good strategy with my Instagram, so I'm really happy with that. It's where most of my business comes from now. But I do sort of struggle more like the Facebook side. I'm trying to sort of branch a bit more into the YouTube side, because I know there's quite a lot of good opportunities there as well. Twitter, I don't get at all. Any of those sort of platforms, not really my cup of tea. Pinterest is not too bad. I've used Pinterest for like, you know, nearly 10 years or something silly. You know, I save ridiculous things on there, whether I do them or not, all over that. But business-wise, I'm not 100% sure on it. But yeah, so I'd like to sort of try and have a look into the other platforms as well, although I'm really comfortable with the Instagram.
Okay, no, that's really good. Thank you, that's grand. Pat, I know you're feeding the little one. Are you wanting a quick one, or shall I move on to Carl for the moment?
Hiya, yeah, I can just do a little tiny one. She's got some very unhealthy food right now, so that'll keep her quiet for 2 seconds. I'll just do my video as well, so you can see me. Hello everyone. So yeah, I'm a textile designer sort of by trade, and I do block printed textiles mostly. So at the moment I'm making lots of work for an exhibition coming up, so large quilts and wall hangings and lots of different stuff going on. Social media wise, yeah, I'm a bit haphazard really, to be honest. But this week I started doing some Instagram TV stuff, and I've actually found that's been really good. It's a bit scary to actually put yourself in front of the camera, but it's been really lovely, and actually like it's like I got a lot of support from my community back from it, so it felt a little bit less one way. Quite often I feel like I'm just pushing content out at people, and this felt a bit more like, oh yeah, that's interesting, or like meeting, you know, talking with peers and things like that. So it felt a bit, yeah, a bit less sort of shouting about products and more just like having a nice like discussion about what we do, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you. No, that's brilliant. Thank you. Carl, I've got you next.
Hi everybody, my name is Carl. I am a professional musician and teacher and a mixed media embroidery artist, and I'm quite happy with how I get on with Instagram and Facebook because I make them work together, and it seems to work out quite nicely. Twitter, everybody keeps on telling me I need to be on Twitter. I absolutely loathe it with a passion, and I don't understand it in any shape or form whatsoever, and it's so full of crap, it's unbelievable. And how is an artist meant to find a way in Twitter? I don't understand. Does it work? Maybe you can help me. And Pinterest, I really like Pinterest, but I don't think I understand. I don't go on Pinterest because I lose my life to it. And, you know, there's not enough hours in the day. But I think it probably would be a really good place for me to be putting my stuff up on. So I'd quite like to maybe explore that without losing hours and hours and hours of my life from seeing everybody else's stuff.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you. That's brilliant. Pinterest, I think we'll probably redo the workshop we've done previously with people who haven't attended, so that might be good. So we'll keep you posted on that one. Darren, I've got you next.
Oh, hi. Darren Evans. I'm a watercolour artist, and I have been doing this for about it was a hobby that started to become more of a serious career about 3 years ago, and cut across to doing it full time about 18 months ago. Social media, I'd say, is the sort of really annoying part of it. You know, you do sort of, the thing that I really like is the art piece of making things, and then you have to sort of go about sort of promoting it on social media, and that's the thing that I find, you know, really difficult. I think I use Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest, and I think the real sort of challenge is trying to convert the sort of likes that you get on those platforms to actual sales. So, you know, I've watched my followers grow on Instagram, and you get lots of likes on things. I've paid to do marketing on there, but from my website, I see you get very little sort of through traffic coming from Instagram, because I think what happens is you just get followed by other artists who like what you do. But it's how you sort of, you know, branch out from being followed by artists to being followed by people who got money to spend and want to invest it in, you know, what you're making. The thing that I've found most useful has been Pinterest, really. And so I tend to, everything that I make, I post on Instagram and Facebook, but then I push it from the sort of the shop page of my website onto Pinterest, and that seems to work pretty well for me. But yeah, I mean, I think cracking social media is a real challenge, and you know, there's a sense that other people do it really well, but I just don't know.
Okay,
so I'd be interested to sort of know how well other people, you know, feel that they really get on with it, and how profitable it sort of is for them.
Okay, thank you. We'll hopefully, as we go along, we will talk this one a little bit more and try and understand from other people as well, you know, what works for them, and how we can sort of bring all of that knowledge together. So thank you, Darren. I'll move on to you, Jamie, next.
Hi everyone, I'm Jamie. I'm an abstract artist primarily, and work on large-scale canvases mostly. So I was also in another career for a long time. I was a HR manager for a number of years. In HR general, I was 20 years in the manufacturing industry. So this is new to me over the last few years. So in that job, I did actually have quite a lot of technology experience, because we developed databases and all sorts. So I'm familiar generally with technology. Social media wasn't a big thing back then. So I have built up my knowledge on social media, and I'm comfortable with it. I think the key with social media is to keep up with whatever's trending. So, for example, if at the moment they're introducing reels. Well, you should be doing reels to make sure that you're being seen by Instagram and things like that. So I'm comfortable with it. Not brilliant at scheduling. I know how to schedule. I know all the apps, but I just don't do it very well. I also don't analyze the data very well from social media to see what's actually happening with the figures. That's not something I enjoy or do very often. I've also, through Wix, built my website, so I'm comfortable with that. I do struggle with SEO, so search engine optimization, and some of the tools around that, and understanding some of the terminology. But Pinterest fine with, understand, don't use it brilliantly, but I get it. So I think I'm okay with technology, but the thing I always find is there's so much that you don't know. So when I started to look into SEO, for example, for websites, it just raised a whole bag of worms that I just didn't know how to resolve. So I'm not imagining we're going to go into that today, but
no, not that one. No,
that's probably one for the future that would be worth talking about. For example, when I put products into Artisanry, and should I be putting, you know, as a description, the title of the piece, or should you actually do what the SEO rules tell you to do and put large abstract art, blah blah blah? So anyway, for another time. But
yeah, we'll take a note for that one and come back to it. It's a fair point. We haven't thought of that, and let's have a discussion on it separate time. Thanks, Jamie. Sarah, I've got you next. Thank you very much for joining. This is the first time I'm actually meeting you as well. So lovely to see you.
Hello. Oh, I've just managed to close my. Oh, there I am. Close everything. Yes, I'm Sarah Lee. I'm very new to the platform. I set up Flax and Hide, which is a small leather goods business back in August. Prior to that, I was an interior designer, a lecturer, and prior to that, a textile designer. So I've been in the design industry a long time, but just in a very different format. Decided I wanted to work for myself again and get back to being creative rather than selling things to people, really. So yeah, new business, and obviously with that, I've had to sort of build my own website, make products, set up Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook. So yeah, it's just a mass of things to do each day, and I think it's just trying to find out what works, and just learn along the way, because it's all a bit of a mystery at first. So yeah, Instagram's fine. I link that to my Facebook page. I don't particularly like Facebook. I've never used Facebook myself. Don't particularly understand it. It's too many words, not enough pictures for me. Pinterest, again, I sort of just throw pins off from my website, from my Wix website, but I don't know if I do that very well. I look at, obviously, the data. Few people pin things, but not particularly. They look, but so yeah, it's just finding out what works and do it more, and I guess get more followers. I think I agree with Darren in terms of Instagram. The people that follow me tend to be leather workers and my friends, and I don't know how I can get people to buy from that. I guess the more people you get onto your followers, it grows. But yeah, I see people with thousands of followers, and I think, how on earth do you do that? But maybe there's a knack to it.
There are things that we can talk about it, how to, so we'll get to that as well. Probably, I don't know how much time will we have in this session, but I think something for us to sort of discuss as a part of another session, you know, how to grow your following sort of thing, which I think is as relevant to us as to everybody else. So it would be great to hear. Thank you, Sarah. Stella, I've got you next. Again, you're new to Artisanry as well. So thank you very much for joining. Lovely to see you as well.
Right, yeah, so I'm an illustrator, mainly wildlife illustration. Before that, my full-time job was a designer in events and exhibitions, 3D designer and in interior design. So that's gone a bit quiet, so it's given me a lot more time to focus on illustration. And then I'm also playing around with taking illustrations into pattern design and printing on textiles. mainly using Instagram, kind of just doing it day by day, not really scheduling, finding like 50% of my day is just spent posting on Instagram, and it's a big time drain. So I would like to learn about scheduling. Also, I think one struggle I'm having is just coming up with content every day, thinking, what am I going to do today? What new stuff? And it seems I get a bit repetitive, or I don't want to keep spamming the same post, but just having enough interesting content to think of something to post each day. And with the reels as well, I tried a few reels, but it's then knowing what to do. Yeah, just ideas and that. So.
All right, thank you. That's
I'm going to turn my camera off because my bandwidth's not that great here.
All right, that's great. I've got you, Ruth, but I've seen your text, your message to everybody. Yeah, Ruth's a jewelry designer as well. Ruth's been with us right from the beginning. So thanks for coming, Ruth. And I think you're talking about scheduling as well. So I think that turns out to be a big one, which I think we haven't put in our slide deck, but something that Lisa can talk about. So I'm going to hand over to Lisa from here. She's the expert on a day-to-day on marketing than I am. But happy to take questions as we go along. So over to you, Lisa. Do you want to do a screen share?
Yeah, let me do a screen share quick. All right, let's do this. Okay, so I definitely think that scheduling will be for another virtual coffee, because I think that'll be an entire thing on itself, because there's so many different tools you can use, so many different tools that work better for certain platforms and not really for others. But for today, we're just going to talk about technology hacks, what different apps there are, looking at ways to, as B always says, work smart, not hard. So yeah, so also just about content creation and just trying to get as much onto your platform as possible without having to spend most of your day sitting doing marketing when you actually want to spend it creating. So the first one we're going to talk about is Canva, which I'm sure everybody or most of you have heard of. It's a graphic design platform. It allows you to create social media graphics, and how it basically works is you can create beautiful templates from scratch. Canva basically has allowed the everyday non-designers to somehow become designers. It's a really, really fantastic platform. And I'm just going to do a quick share with you. So you can get the free version or you can get the pro version. There is a lot you can do on the free version. So give it a go and see how you want to try it out. But it's really, really fantastic. There's different size templates for different posts. So if you want to, for example, create something for Instagram, you just click on your create a design, and there you'll actually see it's got Instagram post over here. And then we can click on it. And now this canvas you have here is exactly to the correct size for Instagram, which I think a lot of people also struggle with or overlook is, you know, Instagram is a very visual platform. So making sure that your content looks good, especially in the grids, is really, really important. So making sure that you're sticking to the correct sizing. So there's different things you can do on here. So you can actually choose existing templates if you want to. They've put together a few templates. You know, you can even type in Christmas and it'll actually give you ready-made templates that you can try. You'll see it'll say free for free versions. Any that you have to pay for will usually say Canva Pro on them. So it's super, super easy to use. If you don't have to create things from scratch if you don't want to. If you do want to create things from scratch, there's a lot you can do with it as well. You can, I mean, there's stickers you can choose from, a chart you can create. We often like to use grids. So if you want to showcase maybe a few different products on one post, you know, you've got these different grids you can use, and all you need to do now is drop images into these grids, which is really, really easy. You can upload media over here. So if you go to uploads and click on upload media, you can actually drop your images straight into there. And it's just a matter of dragging across and dropping it. You can double click on it, you can change how big you want it, you can shift it around. So it's really, really user friendly and a really, really good platform to use. You can throw some extra pictures in. And there you've basically just got a post which you've created in under a minute. If you wanted to create something for Facebook, to save you time, if you want, you can just click on resize, but this is only for pro versions. You can actually click on resize. If you type in Facebook, you can say, okay, great, I'd like to resize this for Facebook, and it will create it for you in Facebook. So it saves a lot of time in terms of content creation. If you don't have the pro version, you can just go back to the home, go create a design. You can type in Facebook. It would be a Facebook post. So you can see here, I mean, it's literally giving you everything already sized. Here's your blank canvas, which is perfect for Facebook. And if you don't have pro, what you can actually do is you can just basically copy this, just click on it and copy it, and you can just paste it into your Facebook, and you just make sure then that you stretch it across the canvas to fit for Facebook. So you can see it's really, really easy. It's a super great time saver. I mean, you can really customize, but again, if you just go to templates, there's so many free templates you can use. You know, if you're struggling to create content, or you feel like maybe you're using the same images, go into templates. There's so much there to use. So once you've created your template or chosen a template and uploaded your media, you drag and drop, and we can customize it for individual platforms, even change our fonts, colors, images. So for example, if my screen share lets me move, there we go. There we go. So you can add your own text in. They've got really fun font combinations you can pull from. You can add in a heading, you can change your fonts, you can even change the color of your fonts, you can even create a new color. So it's really you can really do a lot with it. And you can also save all your logos and your brand colors and things like that, and it's really nice and easy, and it will save it for you. For example, logos, and all your logos will be saved here. It's a great way to keep all your designs organized in one place. If ever you feel like you don't really know what to post, you can use an existing template and just say, okay, I know I've got this template. All I need to do is just drag a few images into it, and now I've already got a new post. Done. So Canva is really, really user-friendly in that way. And then all we have to do is download it. So again, if you have Canva Pro, you can actually use Canva as a scheduling tool. And you can schedule it straight into the platform you want to use, but otherwise you can just download it. It will usually suggest a PNG if it's just a normal image. Click on download, and there it is, ready for you to use.
Lisa, two things. Could you also sort of go through the logo side of it just as a watermark for people, especially when you use it for Pinterest, you should use your watermark.
Definitely.
Yeah, which I think said, and if you don't mind showing the scheduling tool as well, for if anybody does go for Pro.
Okay, so I'll use the Facebook as an example, because you can't schedule to Instagram, but you can schedule on the other platforms. So here we've got our Facebook design. If we go to our logos that we've saved, I'm actually going to just use these ones because they're already edited. Now you can just click on it and it's dropped in. Hold on. When you're using a grid like this, it'll often think that if you're dropping a logo in, it means that it thinks you want to actually replace it. So a little trick to make it not do that is to click on this entire thing and click lock. So now your grid is completely locked, and now you can move this around without it interfering with the other grids. And you can literally just place your logo on, download it, and now your logo will be on everything as well, which is really important, to add your logo onto everything. You know, even if it's just something small somewhere, if nowadays it's so easy for anybody to just go on the internet and just, it's often people are just stealing work, downloading other people's images. So to make sure that your images aren't being used without your consent, just make sure you put a little logo on it. And then again, you can download, and it will download with your logo on it. So to schedule it, if you've got Canva Pro, or if you are thinking about using it as a scheduling tool, we can just click on the Publish to Facebook button, and you choose the page that you manage. And it's as easy as simply typing in here your copy that you wanted to say. You can choose to schedule it whenever you want to schedule it, or you can just publish it right now and it'll go straight to your Facebook page.
Lisa, would you also show the animate side of it as well? Because that's another good way to have more content without too much work.
Are you talking about
GIFs and, you know,
GIFs?
how you can,
Okay.
yeah, add.
Okay. Perfect. So you can also create your own GIFs. We can duplicate this and maybe add in, oh, you know what, Alan's right on top, so let's just use Alan's work. I've locked this, so then I just need to unlock it again. So now we've got this guy, and now we want to add, there we go, add some of Alan's works here. You can drag and drop. This is also the really fun thing. You can kind of just drag things around, see what works where. Sometimes the grids don't always work for a specific design you want, you know, if it's really long like this. Then we lock it again, move logo. So now we've actually, you'll see this is page 2 and here's page 1. We can also add animations to it, which is really fun. So there's quite a few different options. So on the free version, you'll get these 2 first rows, and then on the paid version, you get these as extras as well. So you can choose how you want it to animate, depending on your brand, what your vibe is, what you're trying to go for. And we can also say we want to apply it to all of the pages. You can even choose how long you want the animation to last per page. So if I want the first page to go for 3.5 seconds, and I go to the second page, okay, it's not showing up, but you can see that it's working over here. It's actually showing you that it's going to take 8.5 seconds if this was downloaded as a video or as a GIF. So you can preview it, do that, and you'll see there it animates it for you. Then when you download it, it'll change the file type to an MP4, depending on where you're publishing it to, or how long it is. If it's something very simple and it has no sound, then a GIF is usually the best choice. Otherwise, if you want something that's a bit more high quality and you want audio, because you can also add in music here as well. You can add that in. And then again, you just download, or you can publish to Facebook.
I think, Lisa, the last thing was that we can also use Canva to resize the images.
So that's if you have, yeah, so if you have Pro, a very quick way to resize is to actually just click on the resize button. If you don't have Pro, this won't be here. So you would have to, you know, like we did, go here, create it from scratch.
Not for the Facebook page, but sometimes when they have to put stuff, when people have to put it on Artisanry's website or on their particular size, is that something they can do on Canva?
So yeah, so you can create custom sizes. So if you really like something you've designed for your social media page, and you maybe want to create a vendor banner on your portfolio, you think, wow, I've really created something really nice, I'd love to have that on my portfolio. You can either use Pro and resize here, or you can go home and create. But if you go resize, you've got this list that you can choose from, but you can also customize the size. So you don't have to know how to use Photoshop. It really is very, very simple to create it over here. So for example, let's say, I should know this out of my head, but I don't. I'm going to assume that is the vendor banner size page. I think that might be it. And then you can go copy and resize so that it will duplicate it so that you don't lose your work here. Otherwise, if you're happy to lose it, resize, but always just copy and resize just in case. And so here's your banner, and it's really easy. Again, it's really a matter of just dragging and dropping, shifting things around. It's super, super easy. So if you wanted to create anything for your shop, for example, your banner, you just have to do it like that. If you, I know a lot of people have some issues with resizing product images, and I have shared a video with those that were struggling, but just to give you an idea, if we go create a design in custom dimensions, the product image size for the website is 1000 by 1000, so perfect square. That's just so it doesn't pixelate. It's a nice big size. It doesn't pixelate if anyone's hovering over the image and wants to really look at the details. So this is the size you'll be using for your product images. If you have a product image, for example, that is not a perfect square, so if this didn't have the gray around it, you would just pull it across, and it's okay if these stay white on the edges. So let me use an example. So if you've got a bit of a long item, you really can just drag it across, and there we go. And that's perfectly fine. It's okay that it's got the white on the edges because the website is on a white background, so it won't show it like that. It will actually show it like this. It's just to avoid any pixelation. Otherwise it starts looking a bit untidy, and yeah, you obviously want to make your products look as beautiful as possible for customers to shop from. B, is there anything else you wanted to touch on Canva?
No, I think this was our big thing. We've been sort of advocating Canva for a long time, just because it is a free app more than anything else. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions at all, or something that you want to go and try and come back to us with questions once you've tried, and maybe we can help. Then it's a bit difficult to ask if you've got questions when you haven't used it before.
Well, we've also done a virtual coffee specifically on Canva before, the basics on Canva. So if you want, you can go to our blogs as well. And there's a nice blog right up there, just with a few more steps and a bit more detail as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Canva, we should move on from Canva as well. We've got a few more things we want to cover, but if you know, Canva is something that you do want to talk about a bit more in detail, a little bit more help, then maybe we can have a shorter session at some stage and we can go through it again.
Yeah, definitely. And then, so I guess looking at Canva takes us to the next thing, which is photography and taking really nice pictures of your products. You don't need to be a professional to do it. You really can use your phone to take really, really nice pictures. There's just a few tips and tricks that you can make a note of. So the lighting is quite important. Make sure there's no shadows or anything falling in strange places. Make sure you really are representing your products as best as possible. And you'll see here at the top of the slide, you know, product images testify to the quality of your product, creating two very important things: transparency and trust. So if you've got really well shot products, whether it's on a phone or not, if you're using these tips, and you really make your products look beautiful, it kind of shows that you're putting the same time and care into the physical products themselves, and customers like to shop for beautiful things. And if your product image doesn't look very appealing, then the chance of them making a purchase isn't going to be that high. So using a light box as well. So Photosan, Photosan, is that how you say it? Yes.
I think with photography, what we can, sorry Lisa to interrupt, photography and that Photosan thing, the name comes from Austin, who sort of works with us on photography and videography, just spends time with makers and helps them understand how to take good photography just using what you have. And he suggested this as a light box. If where I do, there is absolutely no fun. Got it. And you know, to be able to take cleaner photographs. So Lisa and I tried to make some adverts over the last couple of weeks, and we really struggled. We really struggled to find decent photographs, because most of the photographs were what is on the left rather than what is on the right. And I don't know, Shirani, if you're still on the call, this is what I was trying to explain to her the other day as well, and a few more of the people, that we want to be able to boost and put money behind it, but for the photograph that's on the left, it's very difficult to get the consistent shape, light, and form. So there are two things for photography. One is the photography that you would do, which might be more artistic, and you want to put it on your Instagram page, which is absolutely fine. But then photography that needs to be done on a white background, and there should be every item and product that you make should always have one photograph on a white background, because when you are boosting your post or when you are putting money behind it, it needs that clarity of image, which a lot of people sort of think, oh my God, it's an expense, let's not waste time on it. But actually, if you spend so much time making a beautiful product, you have to remember you're not standing in a craft stall anymore. You are going to be selling it online, and you need to make it as amazing as possible. And one of the makers whose work for me stands out is actually Tickety Boo, Elaine's work. Her photographs are beautifully done, and I think Elaine does them herself, but always on a white background, so easy to use. And when you're putting it in Canva, when you start using Canva, you will realize how important it is to have a photograph that's absolutely straight, and it's behind on a white background for marketing. Everything else is different. You know, Instagram page is very customable and you can do things on it. But when you're doing something where you're putting money behind it, you need a white photograph, if that makes sense. And I think, Lisa's, we've got the same challenge with a lot of artwork as well that we get. You know, as a platform, we are pushing a lot of visual art out. And if your, again, artwork's not been taken or has been taken from an angle, it just dilutes the quality of what you've done. The customer can't really see it unless they have at least one view, which is totally facing and straight on. And when you put it in Canva, you will realize how difficult it is to actually create content if the photograph's not nice. So to make Lisa's life easier, and Candace's and Emily's, it would be great if we get some really good photographs on a white background.
Yeah, and I think, like you mentioned, Bea, like, it's taking a straight on photo is fantastic. It's a really nice way to see the full image. But it doesn't mean that you only need to take it from the front, because if customers are shopping on the site, yes, they'll be attracted to that very first main image. But when they click on the product, they have the ability to scroll through. You know, if you want to take a close up with detail, or do you want to take it from an angle and show the different angles of it, then yeah, that's definitely important. But as you mentioned, it's, especially on the website, it's also the way people shop. You know, it's not like Instagram where it's these gorgeous you know, lifestyle shots, which are really beautiful, but sometimes just plain white also is quite strong and stands out. Yeah.
Invest 10 quid in a tripod. Amazon tripod is what you need for all your photography and videography. I think following on from here, videography follows the same. We won't spend too much time on it, but similar principles. Again, get a tripod, keep it stable, use a lot of videos. You can mix and match them together on iMovies. If you do use an iPhone, it's fairly straightforward. But again, back to the question of what content to push out, and again, content as far as how you're making a product is so important, because I think customers don't realize the amount of hard work that goes into it. And it's really important sometimes to show how your product is. So from an Instagram and Facebook point of view, do lots of videos.
Yeah. So I guess do you have a question, Jenny? Sorry.
Just very quickly, will you flag issues with photography to us? Because I do use lighting and I do use tripods and all that various business, but you never know how it's coming across to someone else. So yeah, just flag it.
Is that something that maybe would be nice to sit down with Austin?
Yeah, I think I might do that, Jimmy, if you're interested. He's the expert, we're not. And I think some of our makers have had vlogs with him, because he does a vlog and he spends some time on photography and videography. Happy to do that. I think Lisa and I are always very wary to say anything to anybody with we don't want to offend anybody, and I know how much time and effort goes into it.
All the way, because the customers are going to be offended if they don't like it. So I'd rather hear it personally. That's my take.
Happy to get you introduced to Austin. It's on the community sheet, something that you can opt in as well. I've just seen, Sally, your note as well. Absolutely. If anybody wants to spend 30 minutes with Austin discussing one-to-one on your photography and videography, raise a hand and just pop us a note, Lisa or me, or put it on the community sheet. That's the easiest way for us to sort of work through it. You'll do a vlog, you will get some extra content, he'll spend some time, talk all about it. So yeah, sorry, Lisa, moving on, I'll let you start.
Yeah, well, I mean, then going to the next point, which is videography, which kind of ties into it. Just very quickly, there's always this one thing I've heard is video is king. So it really is important to take some time out to actually learn how to record certain things and take proper photos. So not just to get beautiful pictures of your products, but I mean, it's just also more content to put out on social media, which again just generates more followers, more engagement. The more you put out there, the better. It is a very blurry screenshot. But so this is basically the customer journey. I just tried to give an example of what it would look like. Yeah, so making it easier for customers to buy from you. So you won't, when we say link directly to your shop on Artisanry, it's about sharing the links. If you want to promote a specific product, then on your social media, use that product specific link. If there's something new you want to promote. If you want to showcase your work and show everybody, hey, listen, I am on the Artisanry platform, here's my work, take a look, at least then they can see your entire portfolio set up in one view. And it also just makes it easier for them to shop. If you're just posting beautiful pictures, it's fantastic, but there needs to be some kind of a call to action. You need to draw people to the place where they can actually do the purchase. Because if you don't have a link linking to a product, then the customer has to maybe go into your about section on your page, go click on a link there, then try and find what they were looking for. And it doesn't make for a good customer journey. And I think that's really important, to eliminate as many steps as possible to entice purchase. It just makes it so much easier.
Absolutely. And something Cara said on her coffee last night, or live yesterday afternoon, which sort of resonated with what we were trying to the message we were trying to give here, was sometimes customers find it awkward to come and ask you a question with the fear of that, oh, I'm almost committing myself to that product. I may or may not want it because the information is not there. But if you make the information available straight on to, then in some ways the customer knows, yeah, that's £50. Do I have the money for it or not? Am I going for it or not? And that makes it a lot easier if there's a direct link where there are more photographs of the same product, more about the artist, and there's elimination of steps. put yourself in your customer's shoes. You do not want to go trudging through all of Instagram's posts and trying to find out what you need. Sorry, I'm conscious of the time. Lisa, I'll let you get on.
Yeah. Just another thing as well, if you don't feel like you have time to create, imagery, beautiful imagery, sometimes you don't have the time, but you have created a new product that's up there. If you just add in your link and just let, for example, this is on Facebook, and just let Facebook create a link preview. I mean, there's already now a beautiful picture that's going to pull through from your Artisanry portfolio. So just another thing to look at as well. And yeah, again, it's just such an easy way to click through, link through.
Yeah, people who are not familiar with Facebook, that's a very big advantage, that you don't have an Instagram. You don't really need to create on Canva if you don't have the time for it. It will pull your image through, which even I didn't realize that until Lisa was showed it to me. So that was really important.
Yeah, and then another point is just refreshing your shop every month, just making sure that you have everything on there. Are you working on anything new? We don't know this, so it's really, really nice if you are working on anything new, just to let us know, and then we can also put it on our social platforms as well and help get it out there and help promote it. Creating a post that we've just had new products added is just a really great way to say, hey, listen, like, it's not stagnant. There are things coming out, and there's beautiful things that you can shop on the website. And then the last thing is Linktree, and I'm not sure how many people use Linktree, but it's really, really a nice place to keep everything together, especially on Instagram. It's very, very simple. The idea is super simple. Going into Linktree, if someone clicks on your Linktree link, it's just a very simple page that will have perhaps a link to your Facebook page, a link to your website, a link to your Artisanry portfolio. It's just like a one-stop shop.
Yeah, it is brilliant. And Emily's done she's done a video which Lisa has put a link to it. In the interest of time, we're going to move on, but have a look at it. If there is confusion, ask us.
Yeah, and then hashtags. I'm pretty sure a lot of you know that hashtags are pretty important, and I think it's just remembering where to use them, when to use them, how many to use. Don't be too spammy. Instagram, you can use about 5 to 10 hashtags. Best practice is to put it into your first comment as a first comment, as opposed to in your main copy, because the first comment disappears and it looks a little neater and cleaner. Facebook, about 1 to 2. Facebook isn't really dealing well with hashtags at the moment, or they kind of rank you a bit poorly if you use too many hashtags. Twitter, again, say about 4. Hashtags are quite important on Twitter, but of course, if you're writing a really long tweets, you can only fit a certain amount of characters in. So always just look at that as well. And then Pinterest, about 1 or 2. Pinterest is mostly about using keywords. Like what you were saying, I think it was you, Jamie, that was saying, looking at SEO and things like that. Pinterest works very much in the same way. So it's looking at keywords, using the correct keywords in your posts, in your product title. That's more important than using hashtags. And then we've just given a few examples. So if you're not quite sure which hashtags to use, hashtag generator that you can use is allhashtag.com. Super easy. You can see what's trending. You can see, you can type in, for example, if you do ceramics, type in ceramics and it'll show you what hashtags you can use that are performing well, that are specific to ceramics. And then finding hashtags as well is also a great way to, besthashtags.com is another site that you can use. And then Facebook and Instagram Live, I'm going to...
Lisa, just on the hashtags, it's also a good idea to change hashtags and use different ones at different, instead of using exactly the same ones. So a lot of people put 10, 20 in each. Rather than that, break it across your posts and let it go in different hashtags at different times.
Yeah, I guess if you were to use the same hashtag over and over, make sure that it's your brand hashtag. So for example, ours would be Artisanry Co, and that's just a nice way for everything to kind of be stored as well. Anything Artisanry Co related will go to that hashtag. Great. So Facebook and Instagram Live, just really, really quick. According to stats, 80% of brand audiences would participate in a live stream of a brand instead of consuming other form of brand posts. So again, video is king, as they say in content creation. And so we're just given a few tips and tricks on how to actually create really nice Facebook and Instagram lives. Do a Q&A, you know, let people post questions in the comments, perhaps get someone else you can chat to, join on a live with you, do a little Q&A. It's a nice way to show the face behind the brand or the products. Show your processes as well, show some behind the scenes footage, do a virtual exhibition, especially in now today's time, you can't really exhibit things the way you were able to. So just doing a little tour of your products, what you're selling, again, discussing a launch, building hype, saying, you know, I'm on this platform, I'm on the Artisanry Co platform, my portfolio is there, sharing tips and tricks as well is a great way to get people to engage. In any instance where you're helping anybody, people generally like to get advice. And then how to beat the bot, which is quite important. There are algorithms, unfortunately. You can create content until you're blue in the face, but if you aren't doing it in the correct way, you're not really going to get results from it. So we've put four things together just of what we would need or what you would need your followers to do in order to actually create momentum or engagement on your posts. So the first would be to get followers to save your posts. So this is number one at the moment and this is Instagram specific as well. Instagram is favoring saves. So if anyone saves your post, which you can see, we've given a little, this is what it looks like underneath the post. If you see this, that actually means save. So the more saves you have, the more your posts will be shown on people's feed. So again, making sure that the content you're posting is relevant and encourages people to actually want to save it. So going back again to making sure your product images are beautiful. Second would be commenting. So you would need your followers to comment in order to beat the bot. Instagram seems to reward you for having comments on your posts. So leaving a comment really helps. Okay, saying it from help small businesses. So if your followers leave a comment, it really, really helps Instagram rate you a little bit higher and therefore the algorithm. Sharing. So having followers share your post, create content that they would want to share, you know, like for example, a tip, or if there's a specific technique you use, you know, share what you do, how you do it. You know, is there anything specific that you do that's maybe unique that you have other people that find super interesting? It's about creating engaging content. And this helps pages reach more people and helps pages get more engagement. And then lastly is the like. So a lot of the times people think the more likes you have, the better, but that's actually number 4 on the list, but still just as important. And it's mostly, just picking those 4, saving, getting followers to save posts, comment, share, and like in order to beat the bots, which I guess takes us to our last section, which is resharing. Again, work smart, not hard. So how can you create content, put content out there that's going to beat the bots, that's going to tick all these boxes, that's going to get people to engage without you having to sit there spending half your day on social media as opposed to creating your artworks. So we've put a few things together to make it a little bit easier. So unfortunately on Instagram, if you're trying to share content that perhaps you're maybe not tagged in, then Regran is a really great app to download, which I'll show you in a second. And then if you don't want to download an app, then just taking screen grabs of the work and then resharing it, cropping it where you need to. Alternatively, if you're on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and LinkedIn, there's always that handy little share button. It's free content for you to put on your page. You know, if it's an interesting article, if it's someone else, for example, if we create a post and feature you, so easy for you to just click on that share button and there you've already got your post done for the day. we've also created content that we've prepped in the welcome pack. And I'll just show you quickly. We've actually just even put a deck together with some copy. You can literally copy and paste it if you wanted, tweaked it how you want, but it's just to make things a little bit easier, you know. And then we've even just put some images together, resized them for all the relevant platforms. Something as simple as I'm now selling on Artisanry, or find my products on Artisanry. And these are just, I mean, there's already 5 you can use with different copy that you can use as well. That's all been added there. We've also got this really fun little QR code that we've created that you can add in. So anyone can go ahead, scan this, and it'll take them straight to the platform, which is, again, easy customer journeys, getting people onto the site to purchase your products. Then just a little bit of etiquette is, obviously, if you are resharing something, just make sure you acknowledge whoever it is, whoever's post you're kind of resharing. Give credit where credit is due, and don't alter any images or post without actually asking. And this is what Rebrand looks like. So you'll download the app. Here's the icon. And what you'll do is, when you go onto Instagram, you'll click on these little dots over here, share link, and you'll open it using your Rebrand account. Boom, it's in, and all you have to do is click on the Instagram icon. So it's super, super simple to use. Again, for Facebook, you just click on that share. Twitter, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. Really, really easy to just get more content out there by working smart.
Thank you, Lisa. Sorry, I was going to say, Bianca, you've just joined us, but we started at 12, not 1. Oh, no. Dear, I'm sorry. I'm sure I said 12. Apologies, but this is recorded, so that's one good thing. Just back on the resharing of the work that Lisa was talking about. I know we are 6 minutes over. It's just, I think we need to increase the length of our coffees because there's so much content to go through. I was going to say that there are a couple of things there. You know, the question that everybody is asked, how to actually not just have the number of followers as other makers and artists, but actually move towards customers. And one of the things we did was an experiment. Cara recently asked us if we wanted to collaborate with her for a giveaway, which we did. And we put money behind a boost. We boosted the post, put about 50 quid behind it. Cara did the prize. And between the 2 of us, we actually, I have to check with Cara, but we've actually picked up about 60, 70 new followers and a lot more customers, because it's just, you know, who doesn't like a freebie, let's be honest. But what it actually was, it took 2 accounts, and we had at that stage about 1,750 followers when we started. We are on 1,850, so must have picked up about 100. And she had her own set of followers, so suddenly it was into 2 rather than just 1. So I suppose the point I'm trying to say is, yes, we are very happy to collaborate if you do want to do it, but if not with us, look for people within the community with whom your work can go in tandem with. You know, for example, if you somebody makes candles, and somebody who does ceramics, might be a really good thing to get together. And you know, that way you can boost the number of people that you're getting out to. So so that's really another fantastic way of increasing your following. And I suppose that's one of the better ways of increasing your following, because it gets a lot more customers in than other makers and artists. It does get both. But you have to, I think, grow beyond about 10,000 before you can I suppose start getting the actual customers in. So if you are picking up customers along the journey, just pick, you know, picking up followers, or whichever followers, just keep picking them up and adding it on, because with each person you get that person's network as well. So collaborate, that's the bit. Collaborate with other makers. The journey is a lot faster if you work with others than to just work on your own. So find people that you can work with, and you know, post on their post and reshare their stories, comment on it, and saving. Who knew? I didn't even know you could save in Instagram until I was pointed out yesterday. So that's another new one, something to learn every day, I suppose. Back to you, Lisa. I don't know if anybody has questions. I'm sort of really conscious that we've gone over the time, and I'm really, really sorry.
I'm done.
You're done, right, okay.
If anyone wants to ask anything, I'm happy to answer. I definitely have. Yeah.
Is there a way that you can share the PowerPoint that you showed us today?
Yeah.
So I can read in more detail at leisure.
Definitely.
We will. I think most of our PowerPoints are, again, something that we do share, but if you do need PowerPoints that have been used in coffees on photography and videography and Canva and various other things, just ask. I've said many, many times, every coffee, I always say, just ask what you need, because the content is saved and, it's just sitting and doing nothing. So ask for it if you need it. And once again, we prepare a lot of content for you. I know you struggle to find the content and find the time, but if you ask us or reshare what we are doing for you, either individually or with other makers, that actually reduces the amount of content you really need to produce. So on Instagram, it's straightforward enough. Just get one of the apps. There are millions of apps out there, and reshare. And if you do want original copies, then ask us. We can give you the original videos. We can give you all the static content that's written. So that's quite a lot.
Can I just ask a question?
Go for it, Joanna.
On the platform, when you go into your dashboard, should you be able to see your statistics of people who visited your work?
I think so. Lisa, you're an expert here.
It's for orders placed.
I'm sure you can, Lisa, because David said to me the other day that he was not getting any walkthroughs. Joanna, can we come back to you on this one if you don't mind?
Yeah, it's just that if I'm putting out stuff on social media, it's helpful to know if it's working or not.
Okay, we'll come back to you and we'll let you know. I'm sure we do find out. Nobody's asked us how to do it yet. We have probably not bothered to find it yet, or haven't.
I actually need to add it to the maker's dashboard guide as well.
Okay. Okay. Jamie, you were asking something as well.
Yeah, sorry. It is on there because I've seen I had one visitor from New Zealand or somewhere like that, or South Africa. I forgot what I was going to ask now. Oh yeah, on the previous packs, like the previous video sessions and so on, is it possible just to put it onto the community section so that, because I don't know necessarily what's been before, so I don't know what to ask for. So you mentioned the photography, but I wouldn't have known that session had taken place unless I go back and have a look through all the content. So could it be put onto the community forum or into the, maybe into the Facebook group or something that's the community one? I don't know. Is there a way to share it without having to specifically ask for it, because I don't know what I'm asking for?
Yeah, it is all. It makes sense. Our virtual coffees are all on our YouTube channel, and then the ones that are done through Facebook Live are all saved on Facebook.
Oh,
so you should be able to access them there.
I think we have put some of the stuff, you've done the maker's guide and everything on a particular place on the community. So we can, Jamie, we'll look at this
announcements
and come back.
I've seen stuff on the community page as previous Facebook Lives are on there and so on. I guess it's just there's a lot of information in different places that I'm a bit just don't know where to look, as it were. So
yeah. We'll have a think through and we'll come back to you. If not, if we can't do it anywhere else, then maybe where we have the welcome pack on Google Docs is something that we can look at putting all the coffees together in one place so that at least there are about not that many. Leave that one with us and we will come back to you. Emma, I've just seen your comment saying yes, if we on Instagram, I think insights are pretty straightforward. If you go on to that particular post and you can see the insights. And that's
it's the same with Facebook as well. If you just click the post, it'll have like an insight button. For example, if you like click the one for Instagram, it will have like how many saves you've got, how many people you've reached, how many profile visits you've got that are new from it, and then how many likes and comments you've got as well. So it just tells you what's working.
I thought you were talking about the shop specific.
Oh, that's what I thought as well, actually. Sorry, apologies. Yeah, that one's easy. I don't get Facebook sometimes because obviously it's a much bigger platform with much more number of people on it, but it's just not as user friendly. You don't get as much from it as you get from other platforms. So it is pretty surprising that how challenging it can be to use Facebook from that point of view.
There is, sorry, just to add, I don't know if it'd be useful, but there is a website you can go onto called Creator Studio.
Yes.
And that does have Facebook and Instagram and analytics, and you can actually schedule posts from there as well, all in one place. I find that's quite useful, actually.
I think we talked about it right at the beginning, the Facebook Creative Studio, that Facebook's trying very hard to go to create something very parallel to YouTube. So that's how the Creative Studios come about. And I think we need perhaps a session by itself on Creative Studio if everybody is not as clear about it. And you're right, you can schedule it. So that's really good from that point of view. Scheduling is really good. So maybe again, something for us to talk about in another coffee. And I'll take you back to the community sheet once more, because I keep saying you have to send us an email. You have to send us, ideally, put it in the community sheet. If there is something that you're struggling with and you want more knowledge on, or a coffee or a training on, then just flag it up so that when we are looking at coffee ideas, we are happy to look at it. Just one more thing on the content. Blogs is brilliant as well. And some of our makers have done guest blogs for us, and it's been really well received. So again, you can chop that content into so many different ways and use it a million times over. So a blog will go as a blog one time, and it will go as a post another time, and different things. So write blogs if you do like writing, about 800 to 1,000 words ideally. And once again, we are happy to collaborate, to share, and Lisa and the girls will usually clean it up, tidy it up, make it look pretty for you, and do a last 3-eye check on it before it's published. And if you are not great at writing blogs, then send us bullet points on what you need to write, and we'll convert that into a blog for you. And the same way, think of different topics. Sustainability, use sustainability in as many keywords as you can. Highest used keyword at the moment. Sorry, I'm really conscious of the time, so I'm going to ask one more. We've got a call after this, Lisa and I, so we'll have to run. But it's been great. Any last questions at all? We've got 2 that we've taken a note of, and we'll come back to that on it. Sally, you said for Austin, and Jamie, you said for Austin. If there's anybody else who wants to have a vlog with Austin and a talk on photography and videography, please do let me know. And if you don't know what it is, give me a shout and I'll explain it to you again. But thank you very much, Bianca. I'm sorry you joined late. Hope you're well, but we're going to make a run now. You're in mute.
I'll watch it again. Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks so much for joining.